Well, let's take a look at some of our national and international news for this Wednesday morning. It is March 22nd, 2017, and the EU is going to be having a summit on April 29th to discuss the way forward after Brexit occurs. As you know, Theresa May is going to submit a formal letter invoking Article 50. That's the Brexit clause, it's basically forcing EU to let Britain out, and that she's going to invoke that on March 29th, which then 1 month after that, they're going to have a summit in the EU to discuss it. Meanwhile, a poster has been spotted on the War Room wall in Brussels that it's basically mocking Britain. It's a little anti-Brexit Tintin poster. You remember the old Tintin thing, the old stories from like World War I? Well, it's got a rowboat with Britain setting a campfire in the middle of the boat. Italy's top diplomat is talking about overcoming problems with Russia, saying that we need to return to a good way of dealing with them, and looking at the issue of the return of the Kuril Islands to Japan. There's a bit of an analysis at Pravda looking at how it's not merely an issue of historical justice to return these islands to Japan. It's an issue of money, because the Kurils have a whole bunch of gold and silver and titanium and oil and gas. And so it's a matter of returning the resources to the country that has the historic claim to it. Unknown persons desecrated the cemetery of Soviet soldiers in Poland over the weekend. Looks like swastikas and other graffiti, primarily. And, of course, the Russians have issued a formal complaint to Poland. Jordan is refusing to extradite Ahlam al-Tamimi to the United States. She is a Jordanian woman accused of participating in a bombing that killed a couple of Americans and several other people a few years ago. Basically, the reason why Jordan is not extraditing him is because we don't have an extradition treaty between the two countries. Taking a look at the Gorsuch nomination for the Supreme Court, he said yesterday that Trump is not above the law. He also said that if there had been a litmus test, like, for instance, if he was asked to overturn Roe v. Wade, he would have said no, but he would not give any indication on how he would vote on any particular issue. He basically came out and said that an independent judiciary is what's most important. Britain is following the U.S. in an electronics ban on flights from certain Muslim nations. This is a ban that went into effect on Tuesday, and now Britain has followed suit, basically saying if you're coming from these certain airports, and I believe there are 10 different countries, all these different airports listed, that you're not going to be allowed to have any electronics on board. No phones, no laptops, no tablets. And part of this is going to create other problems. If they're all stored, then we're talking about the storage of a whole bunch of lithium batteries together, which that could be, problematic in terms of safety issues. It also could lead to a rise in luggage theft. Also, President Trump warning wavering Republicans that if they vote against the health care bill, they'll get fired by the voters. And we see that a unit of snipers has arrived in the Donbass area. They call them the Witch. They are a female sniper group. The Swedish parliament held its first war game in 20 years on Monday, and there are some serious questions about the credibility of a former UK lawmaker. She's the one that sparked the claim that Obama spied on Trump. Her latest conspiracy theory has been revealed as being, they're calling it a, quote, farrago of fantasy and nonsense. Basically, she has made a number of claims, including that the 15-year-old girl that sparked the whole investigation into Anthony Weiner, that she didn't even exist, that it was all a Russian conspiracy to try to discredit Hillary Clinton. Kiev has reported the successful launch of Ukrainian missiles. That happened on Tuesday. And also Tuesday night, there was a kind of a failure, a glitch, in a Russian social media site called VKontakte. And basically they say, it's just a glitch. But what happened is everybody got to see what the moderators see. And lastly, there's a story in the Daily Mail about how millennials always get lost for a reason. Using sat-navs actually switches off the part of the brain that we use for navigation. They did a study in which people were asked to navigate through a particular area of town, and doing it on their own, they were able to do so, and it just sparked a whole bunch of activity in different areas of their brain. When they're listening to instructions from sat-nav, it completely shuts that off, no activity at all. So, best thing I guess we can all do is turn off the sat-navs and pick up a map. That's what we've got for this Wednesday morning. If you like what I'm doing, please support me on Patreon or by buying a subscription at radiofreespeech.com. By the way, my commentary today focuses on what's going on with the Alaska budget, if you can call it that.